There's a strange thing that happens to people once they cross a certain number in their bank account. It's not $1 million. It's not even close. The number is $100,000. And once people hit it, something shifts in the way money behaves in their life. Not because the government changes the rules, not because banks treat them differently, but because money itself starts working in a completely different way once it reaches this point. Here's the strange part. Most people spend years barely moving the needle. They save a little, something breaks. They spend it. They save a little more, an emergency shows up. It disappears again. It can feel like running on a treadmill that never ends. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, once someone crosses 6 figures in savings and investments, their wealth starts growing faster, almost like it's pulling itself forward. Some people call it luck. Some call it a tipping point. But what's really happening is math, psychology, and time finally working together instead of against each other. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why the first $100,000 is the hardest part of building wealth, why everything after it tends to move faster, and what you can start doing today, no matter how much or how little you currently have, to reach that turning point sooner. Most people picture wealth building like walking up a staircase. One step equals $1,000 saved. Take enough steps, and eventually you reach the top. It feels fair. It feels predictable. Save $10,000, you're 10 steps up. Save $50,000, you're halfway there. But that's not how money actually behaves. Money doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows more like a snowball rolling down a hill. At the top of the hill, the snowball is small and light. You have to push it yourself. Every bit of movement comes from your own effort. But once that snowball reaches a certain size, gravity starts doing more of the work than you do. It doesn't need as much pushing anymore. It picks up snow on its own, faster and faster, the further it rolls. That's the part almost nobody explains clearly. In the beginning, 100% of your wealth growth comes from your own labor. Every dollar in your savings account exists because you worked for it, saved it, and chose not to spend it. Your money isn't really working yet. You are. This is why the first stretch of saving feels so slow and so discouraging. Imagine someone earning a normal income, let's say $50,000 a year, trying to save aggressively. They manage to put away $500 a month. After a full year of discipline, skipping vacations, cooking at home, saying no to upgrades, they've saved $6,000. It took an entire year of sacrifice to get there. At that pace, reaching $100,000 would take almost 14 years. And that's without a single financial emergency, job loss, or unexpected expense along the way. No wonder so many people give up. It feels like the finish line keeps moving further away, no matter how hard they try. But here's what almost nobody tells you. That early stage isn't actually slow because you're doing something wrong. It's slow because of a basic mathematical reality. A small amount of money, even when it earns a great return, doesn't produce very much in real dollars. And this is exactly where most people's understanding of investing breaks down. Let's simplify this with a comparison almost everyone can picture. Imagine two people, both investing their money at the same return rate. Let's say 8% a year, which is a fairly typical long-term average for a diversified stock investment. The first person has $1,000 invested. At 8% growth, they earn $80 that year. $80. That's barely enough to notice. It might not even cover a nice dinner out. The second person has $100,000 invested. At that same 8%, they earn $8,000 that year. Same percentage, same effort, same market. But one person earned $80 and the other earned $8,000 purely because of the size of the snowball they started with. This is the part that changes everything once people truly absorb it. Percentages feel the same to everyone, but dollars don't. 8% sounds identical whether you have $1,000 or $1 million. But in real life, in your actual bank account, the dollar impact is worlds apart. This explains why building the first $100,000 feels brutally slow, almost unfairly slow, while the growth after that tends to accelerate. In the early years, your investment returns are tiny compared to your income. Your paycheck is doing almost all the heavy lifting. Saving and investing feels like planting a garden where nothing is growing above the soil yet, even though roots are quietly forming underneath. But once your savings reach a meaningful size, something changes. Your investment returns start to become large enough to notice, large enough to matter, and eventually large enough to replace a chunk of your income. That is the moment people describe as wealth finally starting to feel real. Let's walk through the psychology of why this milestone feels so significant, beyond the math. Money isn't just numbers. It's deeply tied to identity, safety, and self-worth. And the way people think about money often changes as their savings grow, even before the math catches up. When someone has very little saved, every financial decision feels heavy and emotional. A single unexpected expense, a car repair, a medical bill, a broken appliance, can feel like a crisis. This creates something psychologists call scarcity mindset. When resources feel limited, the brain narrows its focus onto immediate survival. Long-term thinking becomes difficult because the brain is wired to solve today's problem first. This is why people living paycheck to paycheck often struggle to invest consistently. Not because they're careless, but because their brain is constantly firefighting short-term stress. It's hard to think about retirement 30 years from now when you're worried about rent this month. But once someone crosses a certain savings threshold, something shifts internally. There's now a cushion, a buffer, enough saved that one bad month, one surprise bill, one slow season at work doesn't threaten their entire financial stability. And when the brain no longer feels like it's constantly under threat, it becomes capable of thinking further into the future. This is often why the psychological experience of reaching $100,000 feels bigger than the math alone would suggest. It's not just a number. It represents safety. It represents proof that the system works. It becomes evidence, not just to others, but to yourself, that consistent saving and investing actually leads somewhere real. There's also a subtle identity shift that happens here. Before reaching this milestone, many people see themselves as someone trying to save money. After reaching it, many start to see themselves as someone who invests or someone building wealth. That shift in identity often leads to different decisions. People who see themselves as investors are more likely to stay consistent, avoid panic selling during market dips, and continue contributing even when it's inconvenient. In other words, crossing $100,000 doesn't just change your bank account. It often changes your relationship with money itself. Now let's connect the psychology back to the math, because this is where the real magic happens. The reason the first $100,000 is famously the hardest is because almost all of it comes from your own effort, your own income, your own discipline. But the second $100,000 comes from a combination of two forces working together: your continued contributions and the compounding growth of the money you already have sitting there. Let's go back to our snowball metaphor, but take it a step further. Imagine you're rolling that snowball down a long, gentle hill. At the very top, the snowball is roughly the size of a tennis ball. You push it and it barely picks up any extra snow. Progress feels invisible, but halfway down the hill, the snowball has grown to the size of a beach ball. Now every rotation picks up noticeably more snow than before, simply because there's more surface area for snow to stick to. You're not pushing any harder than you were at the top. The hill hasn't gotten steeper. The snowball itself is now doing more of the work. This is exactly what happens with compounding returns. Once your invested money grows large enough, the returns it generates on its own start to rival and eventually exceed the amount you're contributing from your paycheck. Let's put real numbers to this using simple, easy-to-follow math. Say someone consistently invests $500 a month and earns an average return of 8% a year. which again is a commonly cited long-term average for diversified stock market investing. In the first year, their contributions make up almost all of their growth. The investment returns are small because the account balance is still small. But let's fast forward. By the time their account crosses $100,000, something interesting starts happening. Just from an 8% return, the $100,000 can generate around $8,000 in a single year, without adding a single extra dollar. That's more than their annual contribution of $6,000 from saving $500 a month. For the first time, the money itself is out earning their own effort. This is the tipping point people are talking about when they say, everything changes after $100,000. It's the moment your money starts contributing more to your growth than you do. And here's where it gets even more encouraging. As the balance continues growing, this effect keeps expanding. At $200,000, an 8% return produces around $16,000 a year. At $500,000, it produces around $40,000 a year. At $1 million, it produces around $80,000 a year. Again, without adding another cent from your paycheck. This is why wealth building often feels painfully slow at the start and surprisingly fast later on. It's not because people suddenly start earning drastically more money or making dramatically smarter decisions. It's because the size of the snowball itself becomes the main driver of growth. Here's the part that most people misunderstand, and it's important enough to slow down and really absorb. People often assume that reaching financial milestones requires some kind of big breakthrough. A huge raise, a lucky investment, a business that suddenly takes off. And while those things can help, they're not what typically gets most people to their first $100,000. What actually gets people there is unglamorous, repetitive, boring consistency. Saving a set amount every single month, investing it without overthinking it, and letting time do the rest. It's not exciting. It doesn't make for a dramatic story, but it works, quietly and reliably, in the background. This connects to a concept in psychology called delayed gratification, the ability to give up a smaller reward now in exchange for a much larger reward later. Studies on this trait, going back decades, have found that people who are better at delaying gratification often experience better long-term outcomes, not just financially, but in many areas of life. Saving and investing is essentially a practice in delayed gratification. Every time someone chooses to invest $50 instead of spending it on something immediately enjoyable, they are strengthening this mental muscle. And the interesting thing is, this muscle tends to get stronger with practice and easier to use as the visible results start to appear. This is another reason the milestone of $100,000 feels so psychologically powerful. It provides proof, visible, undeniable proof that the sacrifices were worth it. And that proof often makes it easier to keep going because the brain now has real evidence instead of blind faith. So what does this mean for you, practically speaking, whether you currently have $500 saved or $50,000 saved? First, understand that the early stage of saving is supposed to feel slow. That's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's simply how the math of small numbers works. Knowing this in advance can help you push through the discouraging early years without giving up. Because you'll understand that the slow growth isn't permanent. It's temporary. Second, focus on consistency over perfection. You don't need the perfect investment strategy, the perfect account, or the perfect amount of money to start. What matters far more is showing up month after month, contributing what you can, and letting time and compounding handle the rest. A person who consistently invests a moderate amount for many years will almost always outperform someone who waits for the ideal moment to start. Third, protect your consistency during market downturns. One of the most common mistakes people make is panic selling when the market drops, right when their snowball has finally started rolling on its own. Market downturns are a normal, expected part of long-term investing. Historically, markets have recovered from downturns and continued growing over time. Pulling money out during a dip doesn't just lock in a loss, It also interrupts the compounding process that was quietly building momentum in the background. Fourth, remind yourself that every dollar invested today isn't just a dollar. It's a small snowball that will keep growing on its own, year after year, as long as you leave it rolling. The $500 you invest this month isn't just $500. Over several decades of compounding, it could realistically grow into several times that amount, without you ever touching it again. And finally, recognize that reaching $100,000 isn't really the finish line. It's the starting line for a completely different phase of wealth building, one where your money begins doing more of the heavy lifting than you do. So why does everything change after your first $100,000? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not some secret only wealthy people know about. It's the simple, quiet result of math and psychology finally working in your favor at the same time. In the beginning,